What's up, MTG Arena fans? Uncommon cards are the second weakest cards in Magic, but don't underestimate them. They're also a budget player's bread and butter, and for today's uncommon only deck, I went with Selesnya enchantments. With this Voltron-esque archetype, it's easy to surprise your opponents with a sudden burst of damage from a single creature, and we still had access to a lot of good enchantment synergy cards. The full deck list is 4 copies of All Seed of Life's Bounty, 4 Generous Visitors, 2 Destiny Spinners, 4 Jukai Naturalists, 4 Twin Blade Geists, 3 Siona Captain of the Phileas, 3 Griff Spoons, 4 All That Glitters, 4 Michigo's Reign of Truth, 4 Ossification, 2 Rune of Might, 7 Forests, 4 Fortified Villages, 11 Plains, and we got a solid 70% win rate with this deck. Results may vary. And with that said, let's see the deck in action. Our first opponent has a name that I can't pronounce, but their avatar is Vorthos, and I can say that. So my opponent is Vorthos. We're going second, but we didn't have to mulligan, so I'm okay with that. Vorthos here didn't have a turn 1 play, but we get to start off with an All Seed of Life's Bounty. As they play their second force, I check out their dope-ass Japanese alternate art Nissa sleeves. I actually got all of those sleeves myself from Grey Viking Games. If you haven't visited their site before, you really should. They have codes for a bunch of great cosmetics, as well as decks and packs. I'm not sponsored by them, not yet, but I forgot that I am part of their referral program. So if you use the link down below when you do purchase something, I'll get a 10% commission. So go take a look, and if you see something worth getting, be a bro and use my link. Now, it's turn 3 and we've just missed a land drop, but our board is still looking pretty nice. We get to swing in with a 4/3 Jukai Naturalist with lifelink and flying. Vorthos plays another land and then drops Nissa, who shakes the world. She likes to turn lands into creatures, which is an ability that I've never really liked. Making my lands that vulnerable doesn't sit well with me, and rarely seems worth the risk. But they do connect for 3 extra damage with that land creature, so it must have its uses. They then play a Paradise Druid and pass the turn. Now, as we begin turn 4, we miss yet another land drop. So after this match, I do go back to edit the deck and add an additional plains, which is reflected in the deck list that I already showed you. But even without those land drops, we're swinging in for big damage here. Our Naturalist is going to connect for 9, setting our opponent down to just 7 life, while bringing us all the way back up to 28 life, and I'm feeling good. We pass the turn to our opponent, and they're going to play a second Beast Whisperer, which will trigger the first one, giving them a draw. They're probably looking for an answer to my Naturalist, but I've still got mana up to give it protection with Alseed's ability, so it probably wouldn't help much. Down comes Beast Whisperer number 3, giving them 2 more draws, and then my opponent swings out for 8 damage, which I don't block because we'll still be at our starting life total after that hit. Vorthos then plays a Leyline of Abundance, and I hit them with an early GG. They follow up the first Leyline with a second, and then they pass. Michigo's triggers again to pump Naturalists up for lethal damage, and that's game. The real MVP though was Griff's Boon. My opponent just couldn't handle the flying. I liked referring to our last opponent by their avatar, so I think I'm going to continue doing that from now on. Saves me from having to try to pronounce weird names. So our opponent for this match is Karn. We're going second with 0 mulligans, and Karn starts us off with an unnecessary Fabled Passage. Later on, you'll see why I call it unnecessary. For our turn 1, we have an All Seed of Life's Bounty again. Remember folks, consistency is key. That's why 60 card decks are superior to those that run more than 60 cards. Now, I hit Karn with our Unimpressed Dragon sticker there because I knew our creature was about to die to a removal spell, and knowing that it's coming doesn't make it hurt less. We didn't have a great turn 2 play, so I just passed, and then Karn hits us with one of my least favorite effects in all of Magic, a Revealing a Discard effect. Random discards or ones where I choose aren't as bad, but still, like, get the hell out of my hand and let me play my deck. Anyway, there you got to see Siona in action. I don't think I've ever actually seen someone use this card before, but it's a really good one. It not only keeps your hand full of gas, but it also helps to diversify your board's threats by going wide with tokens. She lets you look at the top 7 of your deck and choose an aura from among them. And 7 is pretty deep, which is what she said, but not to me. So I'd recommend trying her out. For my turn, I simply played out a Twin Blade Geist and got a draw with a Rune of Might. Here our opponent plays out a second Fabled Passage, and guess what they grab? A Swamp. This is why I said it was an unnecessary card. Our opponent's playing mono black and using passages. If they had a second color to warrant them, that was a turn we would have seen it. and we've yet to see any kind of graveyard synergy that could also justify it. So I'm very perplexed. Here I play out another Siona and find us an all that glitters, one of our main win cons. I also slap a Rune of Might on her so we can get our additional draw. Our opponent must also be in the mood for drawing cards because they play a Fountain of Renewal, only to immediately sack it for a brand new card. They then hold up 2 mana and pass. If that 2 mana isn't a removal spell and our Owl Seed sticks, we are super set. That protection allows me to basically go all in on our Siona. I give her double strike and then hold up mana to activate All Seed before swinging in for 6 damage, which our opponent doesn't block. Our opponent then plays a land for turn and then passes. Very suspicious, but we have a Griff's Boon and an All That Glitters in hand, instant speed protection, and mana for all of it, so I'm feeling unstoppable. And I'm right to feel that way, as we swing in for lethal damage. You know what? That's what they get for making me discard.